Hi, I'm Scrapping Amy from One Mommy Scrapping, where I am planning for happy memories. Today I am sharing one of my favorite ways to use the Nuvo Embellishment Mousse, which is with a stencil. Rebecca from Rebecca Lockhart Scraps invited me to show off the stencil work, and so let's get started. The stencil I'm using today is from the Crafter's Workshop. It's called Mini Texturized, and I like that it's got all different types of ways you can use the mousse. Now, there are a couple pluses and negatives to the Nuvo Embellishment Mousse. One negative I actually want to talk about right at the beginning is that it has a tendency to dry out a little too quickly for me. And you can see when it starts to dry out, it will get cracks in it. That does not mean the mousse is unusable. There is a way to work with it, and I'm going to show you actually on this one. This one's called Aquamarine, and even though it has that crack, it is still soft enough to easily use with a palette knife. I use the Glad Press and Seal and try to get it pressed down onto the mousse, so it's touching the mousse, so that there is as little air as possible actually coming in contact with the mousse. I don't know if that actually works or not, but in my head it does, so I keep doing it. My husband goes, "Where's the Glad Press and Seal?" I'm like, "It's in my scrapbook room. Why is it up there?" Just like, well, you clearly don't understand. All right. Conversations we have in my house. I'm trying to pick up this paper and I can't. Oh, and this is it's a card front paper. It's like, why is this so thick? There we go. Use that for something else later, I suppose. Okay, so let's do the little Punchinello one right there. You can see it comes out very nicely. And then, there we go. So, what I like about the embellishment mousse, it's got a very nice pearly texture to it. It also dries really quickly. Believe it or not, the embellishment mousse is actually what got me into Nuvo products. I had tried their Morning Dew Nuvo Drop, which is the clear one, clear crystal drop, and did not like it. And this was actually the first thing that I saw someone using that I was like, ooh, I need some of that. I need to try that out. And it is what sold me. All right, and another thing I love about it is how amazing it is over dark paper. So, I mean, it's lovely, absolutely lovely on the white, but on the black, it just like pops and explodes, in my opinion. So, using it, I don't tend to put what I've taken out back into the container, and that's because someone warned me once about the possibility of introducing contaminants into the pot that way, and so I try not to take out any more than I'm actually planning on using. Now, even though, there it is, even though this does have that crack, like I said, still quite usable. It's probably not quite as soft when I first opened it, but you know what? That's okay. This is a product that I don't open until I know I'm going to use it. If you have seen other things I've done, I'm all about swatching and having those samples. And this is one I'll make the little card for, but I don't actually put a sample on it until I've taken the foil off the top. Now, that was Aquamarine. This is Pink Flambe. It's this beautiful hot pink. It's got a bit of a blue-purple flash to it, like an iridescence, which is really cool. This one, even though I also still have the press and seal on it, see if I can get the press and seal off now, this one has dried out a bit more than the Aquamarine one. So this one, you can see that crack there. This one actually has quite a bigger crack that you can see going into the pot, and there are some other smaller, finer cracks in there. That cracking is why sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can recommend this product. But you know, it was a couple weeks ago, I was doing some stuff with embellishment mousse, and I figured out a solution to that problem. Now, when I pulled out the Aquamarine, I did not get the little, I don't know what you would call that. It reminds me when you curl chocolate too fast, or like when they show you lipstick and it's all kind of like broken up into sheets, but it's not really. I like to take just enough. I might pull out a little more than what I actually need, knowing I'm going to end up tossing it, but that helps with the amount of water that you end up putting in. And you can see it's cracking too, like I'm getting chunks coming off of it. But this is a product that I think is worth the extra step. So again, this I'm not going to put back into the pot because I definitely don't want to introduce any contaminants, because the water I'm going to be using right now is just for my tap. I have had someone tell me if you use distilled water it would be okay, but I know me and my clumsiness, so I don't do stuff like that. All right, so I'm taking just a glass dropper and I just put a couple drops of water on there, and then I'm going to knead it. When I love the names of the two Nuvo products. Like this is Embellishment Mousse, and then they have their Glacier Paste. And the Glacier Paste has a lot of mica in it, and I really think it has more of a mousse texture than the Embellishment Mousse. The Embellishment Mousse, to me, has a texture that is more like butter. And it makes me wonder, like, if they had come up with the Glacier Paste product before the Embellishment Mousse, if they would have named it something else. Now, you can see I have worked in just those 3 drops of water, and my product is back to being so easy to use. It is so smooth. And oh, let's do the white one first. It's very smooth to work with. You do not want to put in a lot of water. And I don't know if you noticed, but this edge of the stencil was on top of that and it didn't get on there. If you put in too much water, then your product will be a little too thin and it will end up seeping out. I did get some seepage here, but that's probably because it was when I picked the stencil up and then moved it, it introduced that little bit underneath. Let's do this one. It's easy enough to add the water to it that, well, like I said, you get a ton of product. You don't really need to make too much. And there it is on the black. And you can see a little bit of that shine, that flash of blue purple come in with it. So you have, it's easy to use on any product. I think as long as you can get some of it out, you should be able to work a little bit of water in. One important thing to note about using the Embellishment Mousse with a stencil is that you're going to want to clean your stencil relatively quickly. So I've put on the different mousse colors and stopped the video long enough to kind of pull my supplies out that I needed. And I want to get this off. Now it will stain if you leave it on for too long. I know that bothers some people, but not others. Yeah, see, I'm getting that Aquamarine. Normally I would have cleaned that as soon as I finished. But instead I went on and talked about pink because, you know, pink is awesome. What I will probably end up doing to try to get as much of that off is when I take it into our bathroom sink to clean it out, I have a nail brush that I will scrub at Stencils with a little bit of soap, and usually that has it coming off quite easily. I do have a stencil right here. I'll flip this over really quickly. The stencil right here that I had orange on it and forgot to clean it, and I'd use this pink on it another time. Didn't clean it right away, so it is stained, and that doesn't bother me, but I know it does bother some people. So cleaning up, though, is quite easy. It just needs a little bit of water. A little bit of water, paper towel, and a bit of elbow grease, depending on how long you've let it sit. So I want to thank Rebecca for inviting me to show you how I like to use my embellishment mousse and how I can bring back some life in that stuff that might not be as perfect as it was when you first bought it. That happens, but having a way to be able to change it back to what you bought it to be, I think is pretty awesome that you can do it. There's not a lot of mediums that when they start to dry out, you can just squirt some water and turn it back to new. So if you are not subscribed to One Mommy Scrapping, I hope that you will hit the subscribe button and join me here for lots of fun memory keeping. If you decide to use your embellishment mousse as a stencil, with a stencil, go ahead and tag me on Instagram if you post it. I'm at One Mommy Scrapping. And I think that's it. I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I'll see you later. Bye.